Hello everyone, I am Anakin Blitz coming back for another video where we are starting a new series, Replays of the Week. This is just going to be where I'm going to be uploading replays, very good replays, not necessarily ace replays, but just overall good replays that I get from my subscribers. And it's just mainly as a placeholder for my content because sometimes I'm just not able to really get uploads out, and usually when I'm making big projects, like for example right now I have 3 major projects going on, Tiger's Journey being one of them, and 2 others that I'm not going to say what they are because they're a surprise, but that is basically, because of that I'm not able to really get that many uploads out, and yeah, I might not even upload for a week or 2 sometimes, and the replays of the week is something that I'm going to do every week, maybe even more than every week, and it's just going to make sure that I can get some sort of content out that you guys can enjoy. I'll make sure to put commentary on the replays and get the best replays I can out there. If you guys want to send me replays to be featured, just send them to me on Discord in the Submit Your Replays channel on my Discord server. Link is in the description down below. You can also email them to me, anakinblitz@gmail.com, and I'll make sure to feature them. Now, right off the bat, we're seeing your mama Zero in his Yagged Tiger, and he's from the Opaque clan, which is actually, he's in Clear clan right now, but at the time of this replay, he was in Opaque clan, which is the second clan to Clear. But right off the bat, you're seeing him in this very, very nice position on Castile on this little hill, where he is able to just farm damage here. Now, what is the point of the Yagged Tiger? What makes the Yagged Tiger stand out is really the gun. The gun is just absolutely insane, and it has the second highest damage per minute of any tier 9 tank in the game, and I'm pretty sure of any tank in the entire game, next to the SU-122-54 at also tier 9 Soviet tank destroyer, which is the #1 DPM. But this tank is insane because it does 460 average damage per shot with a 6.9 second reload, and this is in tier 9 to not even tier 10. Not only is the gun insanely good in terms of penetration and reasonably accurate, this tank also has a pretty solid armor profile on it. The frontal armor is actually really nice, and if you angle it well, you will actually get quite a lot of bounces. Now, you can see some pretty good decision making here where he's going to help out his T49 to clear the FE301. Obviously the T49 not having the most DPM, he could not clear that FE301, and if he didn't support that T49 would have lost quite a lot of HP from that FE301. Now with the FE301 cleared, the enemy team actually has no mobility on their team, which is really, really good for your mama here because he's able to just work everything a lot better without the having to worry about people flanking him. Now, that's going to be a really, really, really unfortunate ghost shell. Just a really sad ghost shell that really should have gone through. And it doesn't really matter, though, because he's able to reload very quickly. It's not like he wasted a shell, really, because he can reload really quickly. Now, he's going to turn his attention over to this WZ-111 1GFT because it's just a lot of damage he can farm. He's not necessarily needing to go after kills right now because the damage is what's really going to hurt the enemies just because of this DPM. He could worry about the kills later, and dealing out that damage is just a really important thing right now. He's got himself in a very nice centralized position. It may look like it's a bit of a tricky situation because he's kind of surrounded, but it's actually not terrible because he's able to work with this terrain, like the buildings and all that, to just kind of work it to his advantage. Now, it's a 2v4 right now because his teammates are getting cleared, so this isn't too good for him, and you can see he's rotating out towards here. He knows that those people are flanking around through the spawn, which means that he needs to set up in a position that lets him defend from them, but also not let him get flanked, because this is a TD after all, it doesn't have a turret. You can see that now the Hori and the K91 have gotten around. Very unfortunate bounce off of that Hori, but you can see that with this frontal armor of the Yagged Tiger, just a little bit of angling is insane because he's going to bounce a lot of shells from both the Hori and the K91, sitting at 3.5k damage already, and the damage is only going to go up. So we've got the 2 TDs behind, and he sees the WZ there. He obviously does not want to get in the line of sight from the WZ, so he's moving his way over here to use the buildings as cover. A very, very smart move. Now, right over here, it may seem like a smart decision would be to drop down to the river to clear that hurry, but that isn't exactly the best idea, and that's not what he's going to do. The reason why he's going for this WZ is because it is isolated, and that's something really important that you need to do in battle, especially when you're in a situation like this. You need to find your isolated targets and clear them. And the WZ is the isolated target here, because if you were to go after the WZ, those other enemies, the K91, the Hori, couldn't really do anything to support their WZ, whereas if he went after the Hori, the K91 would have been there. Now, unfortunately, the Waffle managed to get over here, so now he's going to drop down to the river because the Hori is the next isolated target, which unfortunately isn't really anymore because he managed to get up in time, but that doesn't really matter too much because your mama is going to stay in a defensive position down the river and wait for the enemies to extend, because in pub matches everyone is just really impatient to get damage out, and you're gonna see that too. Now unfortunately the T-49 got cleared, which makes it a 1v3, a 1 versus 3 situation right now, but he's just going to remain calm, clearing the Hori, using angling the best of his abilities on his Yag Tiger to hopefully get some bounces off. He sees the K91 rushing, and the K91 is just doing something really stupid. He is just being greedy for the damage, and he's just full-on rushing for some reason, not really knowing that the Yag Tiger has good DPM. Fortunately, the Waffle is not using the 152mm, so that's good for him because he's not a one-shot. Now, unfortunately, that HE hit the gun. That just gives that. Just watching that loses my brain cells. I lose my brain cells just watching that. I can't even speak because I'm losing my brain cells. But yeah, you're gonna see that he's going to clear the Waffle easily, and that's just gonna end the game right there. With a you're gonna see the damage right when it loads, a 6.4k damage and 5 kills, ace mastery, and obviously being a 1v3 was a Kolovanov medal, and yeah, that was a really nice game. You could see the Tiger 2 did absolutely nothing, the 5100 did pretty much nothing, lightweight did nothing, the ISC 130 did nothing, the T49 barely did anything, and the T30 barely did anything either. So it's just a really sad team, but a very epic carry by your mama here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this replay. By the way, huge thanks to my Patreon, my first Patreon actually, which is actually not by coincidence your mama in this replay, which is one reason why I featured it as the first episode of Replays of the Week. But yeah, he actually managed to find my Patreon, even though I didn't publicly announce that I had a Patreon. But okay, why do I have so many messages? I'm not even gonna bother. But yeah, I haven't announced my Patreon. I wasn't going to announce it, but I guess now is the time to announce it. Yes, I do have a Patreon. It's just, I think, patreon.com/Anakin Blitz or something like that. You can find it in the description of my videos, though. And yeah, if you want to support me, then you can just follow my, or is it follow or become a Patreon? But you don't have to, obviously. But just a heads up so you guys know, the money that I get from the Patreon is going to go back to you guys in giveaways and events. I'm not going to just take all the money for myself. I'm going to give it back in giveaways, events. Not necessarily in giveaways, but it might be in like some sort of event, like for example RVR, where there's a prize of money or something like that. But of course you don't have to like become a Patreon. It's just there for you if you want to. And huge thanks to your mama though for being a Patreon, and you get to be in videos and stuff and all that. But whatever, hopefully you guys enjoyed the first episode of Replays of the Week. I'll make sure to get more out, maybe not necessarily every week, maybe even more than once a week, because it really takes almost no time to make these videos. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.